Welcome to the Entrepreneur Experts Cafe, sponsored by Entrepreneurs Rocket Fuel. I'm Kimberly Crow, your host and the creator of the Facebook community Entrepreneurs Rocket Fuel, a community by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, helping entrepreneurs and experts get their business to the next level. Come join the community and the conversation at www.entrepreneursrocketfuel.com. Today, I'm interviewing Linda Mechner, a food thing detective. Super glad to have you here with us today, Linda.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. So tell us what a food thing detective is. This sounds amazing.
Okay, well, your food thing, these days, most everybody realizes that there is a connection between food and how they feel. And a lot of people tinker with their food, trying to, adjust their food to feel better, to be healthier. But honestly, a lot of times they get it really wrong. They try what their friend tried, what they read in the magazine, and they're really taking wild guesses at what they might do next to help them feel the way they want to feel. And so being a food thing detective, I help people make their best guesses and learn how to fine tune it in a way that makes sense so that food stops being a struggle and they get to actually feel the way they want to feel, have the productivity, know that when they need to show up and be on, that they are on, that they're not having a bad day or a bad food reaction.
Okay, so does this have to do with allergies, performance, how they feel, like what they did the day before, if they're too exhausted and they might feel better?
Yeah, there's a lot of different layers to it. Human beings are very complex.
We are.
And there are a lot of different factors at play at any given time. So yeah, it definitely can have a lot to do with food allergies, food intolerance, but also energetic balance. There's certain foods that are going to make us feel more subdued or more lit up. And we also need to know where we are in the scale, because people who are really tend to be sort of slower and more prone to maybe depression or something like that, they need foods that help uplift them and elevate them. People who tend to be anxious and too ungrounded need foods that help them bring them down and help them feel more grounded.
Safe and secure. Okay, I definitely get that. All right, so maybe you can tell us a story about one of the clients that you worked with that you thought it was one thing and it turned out to be another food thing.
Yeah, I honestly, I am my favorite story, because for me, I struggled with food almost my entire life, and I did everything that I was told to do. I tried every diet known to man, everything that was known to man, and the things that were supposed to work did not work for me. And I actually wound up going to nutrition school and spending a lifetime of learning to figure out how to shift that. And so one of the things at play for me was food allergies, and all of the healthy foods like kale, apple, lemon, onion, like anything with flavor, basically, I was severely allergic to the point that I actually felt better eating pizza than I did eating a kale salad.
Wow.
But, allergy is one thing, but also energy and mood is another. And so I really had to refine my food, because I do have a tendency to be very slow and, left to my own devices, I will eat things that make me feel more slow and more depressed and more lethargic. And so for me, I have to manage myself in a way that I'm eating the foods that uplift me, that make me feel buoyant and joyous, and then and enjoy them to the point that I can do that as a path of least resistance, that I don't feel like I'm in food prison to feel the way I want to feel.
I like that. Now, I do think that maybe there's a food that you can give us for anybody that would work for anybody to uplift them a little bit more. Anything that we can do in order to get a little bit more uplifted as things go throughout the day.
Absolutely. So probably the most powerful uplifting food is leafy greens. So anything that is growing up from the ground like this is uplifting. So yeah, leafy greens. I personally, my favorite thing is actually green juice, which is apple, lemon, parsley, and cucumber. And to me, that is like a glass of liquid life.
Wow, glass of liquid life. Very nicely said. I like that. All right. So if people want to work with you directly and find out a little bit more about who you are and how you show up in the world and how they can work with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Absolutely. So they can find me at lindaliving.com.
lindaliving.com.
Yep. And get in touch with me. And I have a place for everyone to start, no matter where they are on their health journey. I will help you find the next step so that you can feel the way you want to feel and live the life you want to live.
I love it. I learned a lot today. Thanks so much for being here as our expert, Linda. Super glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
Before I let you go, any final words for our crew?
Live vibrantly.
Live vibrantly. That's a good one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was another episode of Entrepreneur Experts Cafe. Super glad to have had Linda here with us today, sharing her expertise on finding your food thing. Very, very glad to have her here. We'll see you next time on Entrepreneur Experts Cafe.